tuning into Purse Empowerment TV. I'm Shawnee Curry Saintville, your favorite personal finance expert. And today I actually have a special guest in the Purse Empowerment studio. She's going to try to really be all, straight-laced, but this is my friend. We talk about money all the time. We're always talking about how to grow money, how to spend money, how to save money. So I thought, who better than my friend who is a CPA, who is also, a State Farm agent, to come in and kind of help us have this conversation in a very relaxed manner where you actually, at the end of the show, you know what we're talking about, right? Because how many people have life insurance policies and they know that they sign it and they pay for it every month, but they're thinking, okay, this is only going to show up for me if I die,
yes,
right?
Exactly.
Okay, so let's talk about it. Mm-hmm. So some instances, if you had to say some instances like where life insurance can show up for you outside of death, we talk about death all the time,
mm-hmm.
but what are some ways that life insurance can show up for you?
Okay.
Number one way.
Paying for college for a child. Okay,
paying for college for a child. So let's think about this scenario. Little kid, 10 years old, yep. You say, can't do it, can't put that money to the side, yep. No Florida prepaid, no saving plan, no 529, none of that stuff. Then, it's time for the child to go ahead and go to college, right?
Yep.
And they decided to go to out-of-state college, and you're looking at tuition for that first year, maybe about a good $25,000, right? Mm-hmm. And that's probably on the low end, depending on where they choose to go to school.
True.
So those are some instances where you've kind of seen life insurance show up. Tell me a little bit about that.
Absolutely. In the event where they are short and they need cash, mm-hmm. you can use your permanent policy if you have one to access the cash values to supplement school. The cost of school.
To cost of school. So that's definitely a life moment that will show up. Mm-hmm. Some other instances where you would be talking to you would be talking to the people that you sit in front of every day, because you talk to so many different families, so many different demographics being represented. And we just want to make sure that people not only think about life insurance as it mm-hmm. relates to death, but also as it relates to life. There's mm-hmm. people who want to go ahead and start that business.
I'm glad you brought that up, Shawnee. An entrepreneur who's looking to access cash. They may not be able to get a small business loan, mm-hmm. may not be able to access equity in a home. They may not have a home to access equity. Okay. But with a permanent policy that has cash value, I tell my customers, I don't need to know why you need it. I don't need to check your income. I don't need to check your credit. If you need the money and you can access it, or you have the cash value to access it, you can go ahead and I can write you a check.
Okay. All right, so we're talking about life moments here. We talked about college, right? That's one time where your life insurance policy could show up for you.
Yep.
We talked about if you are in business and mm-hmm. you kind of want to do that. Another time is sometimes, let's say you're getting ready to sell your house, you need to go ahead and sell that house and you need to do some improvements, mm-hmm. That's typically a way where you would find. Now, how is that kind of different from a regular standard loan that you would get? How is it kind of different?
That's a really good question, Shawnee. Most people would think that, okay, I can do a HELOC or a home equity line of credit to take money out of the home.
So a home equity line of credit.
Exactly. To take money out to renovate their home, in this case, before they're selling it.
Okay.
With a HELOC, you do have to check the bank is still going to check your income.
Mm-hmm.
They're still going to check your credit. Mm-hmm. They're probably going to want to know why you need the home loan.
They want to know the value of your home.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so if you're upside down or you just can't get the loan from the bank, if you have a permanent policy that has cash value in it, you can access that to do the renovations.
Okay.
And typically the interest that is charged on the policy loan for in a permanent policy is usually less than what you would get on a HELOC or any other type of commercial loan.
Okay, sounds good. So we've said that your life insurance can show up for you in the event of college,
yep.
in the event of building a business, in the event of doing some improvements in your home. Another one would definitely be retirement. So slow that one down. So let's kind of think about this. Let's just say you put a little bit in that 401k, but nowhere nearly as much, because the main thing that you got to do is make sure that you're protecting your money from inflation and taxation. Those are the two top things. So if you're not into a 401k, then you're probably not doing that. So let's just forecast for the person that's just kind of like, they're going to dig in dolly, they're not going to do this, right? And luckily, if they have what type of policy would they need in order, let's just say, they're getting ready to retire and they didn't really, retire. Does life insurance kind of show up in those instances?
Absolutely. We typically talk to our customers about life insurance, a permanent policy that has cash value, or that builds cash value, being a supplement to your whatever you're doing for retirement with your job, or even outside of work. And you can also put cash away tax deferred. That you can.
So tax deferred, break that one down, because that's one of the questions I'm always getting, that tax deferred. Talk a little bit about that.
So money that you put into a permanent policy is going to grow tax deferred, meaning I'm most likely not going to send you a 1099, or say, a company's not going to send you a 1099 for the earnings that you experience within that policy. Now also, when you access that cash in the future, usually if you don't surrender the policy, you won't have to face taxation issues as well. Unlike other retirement vehicles, since you put that money away pre-tax, when you access it in the future, you will pay taxes on it.
Got it. Alrighty, so we talked about some life moments where your life insurance can show up for you. Number one, we talked about college tuition. We've also talked about building your business. We talked a little bit about retirement. We talked about doing some home improvements. And the last one that I wanted to touch on just a little bit with you is just someone who kind of just needs access to cash. They've kind of found themselves in a situation, let's say they lost their job. Let's say their business isn't performing to the standard. Is that a time where you would say that this is a good time for you maybe to tap into that policy? What would you say about that?
I think so. If you have the cash there, why not use it as a vehicle that you can, access? If you want to purchase a car instead of financing it with the dealership, or you want to take a trip to Europe, might cost you $5,000 to $10,000 if you have the cash in a policy. Why not access it? I don't need to know why you need it.
Exactly. I get it. I totally get it. So we talked about those 5 things. I just want to make sure that we came up with that. Here's the main thing that I wanted to focus in on: parameters, right?
Absolutely.
Because the last thing that I want you to do is walk away from this conversation saying, hey, I got this money in cash in my purse, I'm just going to go and cash in on it. I want you to use some parameters in deciding whether or not if this is something that your purse is going to do, because we don't want you to be vulnerable. We want you to be protected.
Absolutely.
So some parameters that you would give to someone that's saying, hey, I had absolutely no idea what cash value was until I tuned into this segment. So now we're talking this language and this lingo, and they're probably maybe perking up. I think I do got a little bit of cash value. What would be some parameters before they would tap into it that you would say that they would need to use?
I definitely think you should have a discussion with your insurance professional, the agent that you're working with, to figure out how much can you borrow or that you have access to. What are you planning to pay the money back? Are you not planning to pay it back? You need to have a good understanding before you just go touch that cash, because you don't want to face taxation issues.
You don't want to face taxation. That's number one. You don't want to collapse the policy. And you don't want to exhaust all that cash. So for sure, before you do this, I do want you to know that life insurance is good for you, whether in life or in death. But more importantly, I want you to know that you have access to cash, but I want you to sit in front of a professional like Natalie, so that you can make some educated decisions about tapping into that cash. But you do need to know that it is there. It is definitely there.
Absolutely.
Alrighty. Well, as always, we do hope that you feel richer, because we feel richer every time that we tune in with you. 3 things that I definitely need you to do. If you like this video, I want you to for sure actually physically like it. I want you to share it, and I want you to drop a comment. I do know that talking about life insurance is highly convoluted, and it can make you feel like after watching, like, what those people talking about? So I want you to email us. This is a resident, one of my very good friends, and she will definitely help us respond to the questions that you may have. If you do have a policy in your purse and you don't know what the heck it is, I want you to drop that comment and say, what are you talking about? I have one, but I didn't know it had all of that. Alrighty, thank you for tuning in. I do hope that you feel richer.